something the last half hour she was available.
Yeah, maybe something came up.
Something the last half hour but in the meantime, available. I believe we had just left off with scooping up the remains of some Imperial Guardsmen who were able to find. I believe we had just left off with the last astropath on the planet. Remains of...
Oh, right. I remember talking to that dude. That's it.
Oh yeah, there are some words for that dude.
Father Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There are definitely some words.
So yes, you'd scooped up a bit of the remains of the what was that regiment called? The Sodal 39th.
Geralt's regiment.
Yes, Geralt's regiment. So a few survivors of the Sodal 39th who have absolutely no idea who has or hasn't survived across the rest of the planet. For all they know, they're the last humans alive.
Wasn't the plan to get comms back up around the
Yes.
planet?
Their Vox network is down. And has been down for about a year now. So they really haven't had much of any contact with each other since, and well, ever since their forces got physically broken up by the orc assaults. They only know what they personally have, which is a mere handful of guardsmen. And a few mounts. They do still have some Rough Riders. Like Geralt. Although Geralt did not have the signature weapon of his regiment.
What was it?
What's that?
A Rough Rider hunting lance.
What's that like?
Okay, you know, like a knight has a lance?
Yeah.
Put a giant shaped explosive on the tip of that lance.
Oh. I know the Grey Knights have got, like, lance guns.
Yeah, no, lance guns are like starship lance weapons. Like where they melt through armor and are like focused laser thingies.
Right.
But can at least talk strategy with people, figuring things out. Maybe see if there's anything you guys wanted to go through doing, even without Robin here. Notably, what was the Magus's name that you guys were shipping here in the first place?
I cannot remember.
What's his face? That's his name.
That guy, you know, the dude with the things.
I remember him. I just the name.
Telomeron?
It was very similar to the fucking antagonist from Dawn of War 2. Chiron. Magus Chiron.
Magus Kylo Ren. I hear he has an 8-pack.
Okay. And yes, I understood that reference. But so, anyways, as you guys are looking over grand hollow maps depicting the various bits of auger data that you've been able to glean from the surface, Magus Chiron does enter the chamber.
Magus?
Lord Gray,
Hello, Magus.
my most interesting Lord Hodor. It appears that there is an obstacle in our way.
Hodor is eager to show obstacle what Hodor is best at. Breaking obstacle.
I have very little doubt of your ability to break things. There are a great many of them, it would appear.
I'll just keep him busy for a little bit longer.
Well, as it stands right now, we can just bombard them from orbit once we're sure that our people are clear off the planet side, right?
A possibility.
Hodor thinks problem is perhaps large-scale operation to get people off planet side. There will be fighting. There is also a possibility that orbital bombardment will not get rid of all orcs.
Most works.
Or even most.
Precise tracking of the creatures may prove difficult, but not impossible. It is entirely possible that were we to access and activate the defenses of the lost city, we would be able to purge the planet of the creatures rather quickly.
That sounds really dangerous.
Oh, what part of this plan already wasn't?
Well, I mean, do we know what the defenses are? How do we know that they might not destroy everything? Or can we turn them off after? I mean, we want to go in there, after all.
I have studied the manuscripts of the lost city as deeply as is possible. They would raise a grand army of servitors.
Like the ones the governor had?
I cannot speak to the details of the servitors, although certainly that is not what the governor held in his hands. Unfortunately, I know very little of what is contained within the city itself. I know that its technology is vast and powerful, but its doors have been sealed for quite some time.
How certain are you that those doors could survive orbital bombardment?
Exceptionally certain. We possess the key, though it will still take time to open the exterior doors.
Well, as long as the city itself isn't in any danger, we can just carpet bomb the whole area.
Finally, a simple solution.
I guess the question is, if we activate the defenses, is it just going to also kill all of our own possible abandoned guardsmen on the planet?
There is a possibility.
Well, they all seem quite willing to die for it anyway.
Just kind of smirking to herself, and that sort of, she hates that guy.
Are you particularly concerned about the lives of the remaining guardsmen on the planet, Lord Grey?
Personally, I don't want to see him dead.
Holder would not like to see. Well, Holder doesn't like space marines. Holder has no problem with Imperial Guardsmen. Holder would not like to see. The men Holder served with were decent men, and I assume these are men are the same. Holder would not like to see them destroyed or killed en masse.
Um,
I say if they're willing to just stay here and fight and die for glory of the Emperor, then we shouldn't get in their way, shall we?
I'm more than willing to die.
Yes, they are, aren't they? Fascinating. I admit that I am curious what, if anything, remains of the Mechanicus expeditionary force that resided on the planet.
Do you know where they were located?
I know the location of their bastion.
Holder will be angry if they've stayed out of fighting. Holder will be extremely angry if they have left the brunt of or entirety of the fight to the Imperial Guardsmen.
I am not certain how many of them have survived. They called for assistance. That is why the guard is here. Of course, my primary concern is securing the lost city. Though I would not want these green-skinned creatures to interlope on it or damage any of its valuable technology.
Well, it's still probably worth it to go and try to turn the comms online. If there are any Mechanicus left, they might have some expertise on the city themselves.
Yeah, they might have more field data.
A distinct possibility. They have had several more years to analyze it than others. The primary Vox relay tower was not far from their bastion. Nor was their bastion far from the city gates.
I still think the putting the tower back online is the best place to start here.
I am inclined to agree. I can provide the expertise of myself and my tech proof. We may be able to expedite the repair process.
Pretty sure you can.
The prime concern would be the less than reliable nature of saturating orbital fire. There remains the distinct possibility that we could damage the tower further than it already has been. One can only imagine what the Orc have done to it already. So the question would remain if you believe you are capable of standing against the Orc tide for any period of time.
Older is capable. Older will meet head on.
I have very little doubt of that. I have very little doubt that you would do so with or without an army at your back.
I mean, even if we don't want to overly bombard, we can at least provide air support.
Well, if we can, I don't know. There's always luring them out, I suppose, or there's some sort of trap we can make.
Older proposes we do a surprise bombing run on their airfields, if we can.
Thus far, the identification of their airfields appears to have eluded you. I'm curious if they have an air force remaining.
As far as we heard from the guardsmen we picked up planet side, they've got the orcs got quite a few fighter bombers still in the air.
Hmm. He begins cycling through the hollow information himself. Which, of course, being Warhammer, rather than a nice little Tony Stark flick of the wrist, is a nice, big, chunky click button that clumsily fizzles the hollow image over to the next zone.
So have we been doing like any active scans of the surface since we got here? Since we're like the only people in the air now, or like the orbit?
Well, technically, you've got a buddy in space now.
Yes, that's what I mean. They're on our side.
Yes, the Revolution Cruiser.
I figured if we're trying to find airfields and stuff like that, that would be the way to go.
But yes, you do have active augury of the surface. But it has been proving difficult to locate the orc airfields.
Well, other two bastions of information, other than just augury scans, are we can just go onto the Revolution Cruiser and try to look through all of the data they have on the ship, and we still have the orc captain, right? Or is he dead now?
I don't think you killed him.
Still have the orc captain.
I think Thaddeus might have re-stupefied him, I can't recall, but he would have recovered by now.
I think it's just a constant top-up of being stupid.
So Thaddeus just periodically shoots him in the face.
Yeah. It's like a daily round. I can shoot the old captain in the head again, yeah.
It'll still take him like over 24 hours to fully recover from a bout of bringing him down to 0.
Then, whenever he needs it. Whenever he starts making noise again.
Obviously, now that we have some orc-ish, at least types that the orc would think might be on his side, we should probably ask Splack or something like that to try to get some information out of him. He might be stupid enough to believe that they're on his side.
On the one hand, I do not particularly see the orc being difficult to deceive. On the other hand, you are relying upon an orc kind to do it.
Well, he has to be useful somehow, and the captain's not going to kill him.
Like trying to break cardboard with cardboard.
He's at least slightly smarter if he managed to survive. So it's more like deceiving cardboard with slightly smarter cardboard.
My expertise is, of course, in matters of machines. And the more esoteric knowledges. He takes a glance over to Hodor for a moment. Lingers on him for a second, but then looks back to the group at large. I leave the matters of interrogation in your no doubt capable hands.
Hmm.
He seemed rather resistant last time.
He is an orc, is that not their way?
That is certainly the case. Maybe more hands-on field intelligence might be a better way to go at it.
It appears that you have garnered yourself a supply of potential infiltrators. And I know that you, Lord Crispin, are rather adept at the covert arts yourself.
That's what fighting Eldar does to you.
Yes, I imagine that it would. They are horrible, conniving creatures, aren't they?
Don't say that too loud.
I'm sorry, why is that?
Yeah, of course he's gonna say it in front of the guy that doesn't know.
Would not say that too loud. This is all.
Are there sympathizers of the Eldar aboard?
I think it's more likely to be superstitious underdeck tales.
Yes. Mutants have heard of ghosts on the ship. Sounds suspicious like Eldar, but you may want to be careful of the language you use, or you may end up, knife through chest by said ghost while you're sleeping.
Dev is just facepalming this entire time and drinking. Drinking while facepalming, somehow being able to both lean her head forward and still drink.
I have not slept in several of your lifetimes, Lord Aldor.
Robo just like rolls his eyes and then just mouths mutants and then just at the Magus.
Well, Other's not making threats of any kind. Other is just genuinely concerned about your safety. But if you think you can handle yourself against ghosts.
Oh yeah, the ghosts. They're coming to get us. The ghosts.
Spooky. Drink.
Moving on. Problem at hand is Orc Menace, not Eldar. How do we deal with orcs? Since we are focusing on extraction instead of battle, what would the Magus think is best strategy moving forward?
Certainly Lord Grey is correct in the importance of the Vox relay tower.
But if we put units down on the ground, we're going to need that ourselves.
It would certainly be a risk. There remains a possibility of infiltration of the tower. But if the Orc were alerted and moved in force, if you did not already have forces in position, you may find yourself overwhelmed. The tower is certainly showing signs of Orc habitation on your auger divining. Though it is difficult to tell precisely what the nature of the Orc habitation is. One shudders to think what they're actually using the tower for now. I suspect that a large reason why your rather primitive augur arrays are having so much difficulty with tracking the orc presence is tied to the nature of what passes for their technology.
Do you think their airfields might be cloaked?
In a manner of speaking, the planet is a war zone covered with hulks and wreckage on every corner. I do not believe your augurs are capable of telling the difference between twisted scrap and an orc plane, because there is very little difference to begin with.
Well, if the thing we're looking for I think the thing we need most right now is just more information. If anything, we should maybe split up, have some people interrogate the captain, have some people try to go through the records on the Revolution cruiser, and have some people at least do preliminary scouting on the tower.
Well, the disgusting creatures could still tap into their communications on the surface, couldn't they?
You do appear to have garnered the alliance of some of these creatures, not merely their technology. Though I am loath to call it that.
See, they just need to make themselves useful.
Well, me and the captain can head over. I speak Orc. She's good at computers. Also, I don't think the Magus himself would be willing to step foot on an Orc ship.
I would prefer not.
Well, I don't see a good reason to piss off a client.
If you believe that my assistance will be necessary, I am but a Vox channel away.
Appreciate the offer.
Unfortunately, I did not bring sufficient numbers to bolster your forces on the battlefield. I have my personal guard. But I do not believe that they would be enough to turn aside the green tide.
Yeah, I think the thing we gotta do here is outsmart them. Probably shouldn't be that hard. They're Orcs.
Mm-hmm.
There is a particular logistical difficulty that I suspect you may not have considered.
I'd love to hear it.
I have analyzed what you are carrying aboard your vessel, your supplies, your transport ships. Unless you had a considerable amount of time to prepare, you do not currently possess the means to transport military forces en masse. Setting aside your capacity to extract survivors from the surface, deploying your own appears to be rather difficult with what you have available. At least with anything resembling expediency.
Well, that's what happens when you try to send explorers to do the military's job.
Well, there's two places we could possibly pick up that kind of technology, quote unquote. And I'm using quotes because it's either from the Evolution Cruiser or the head cruiser we took down. We haven't really rated it for anything.
I do suspect that your new green-skinned allies, being what they are, would possess the means to transport soldiers. Though I leave to your judgment if you believe the men and women of the Imperium would be willing to be transported aboard Orc ships.
That is a serious consideration.
That would be a roll. High roll. Not a character. It's gonna be a high roll.
I think it's more that if you do it, you're probably going to need a roll to do it, and then you're going to take a morale hit.
Oh, you know what we should do? So they want to be transported on orc ships, right? So
Nobody wants to. Or ships
no,
suck.
no. Yeah, but we can get them transported on orc ships, but we can pretend that they're reinforcements for the orc forces that are already there, and then the doors open up, and they get hit hard by our men. And at that point,
I think the problem with this is that if we're not fighting orcs 2-1, I don't think our ground forces match their ground forces. Maybe even better multipliers than that.
So we bombard them first, right? We bombard the orc forces with what we can, and then we, under the premise of reinforcements, we get the Grots to radio down that we're bringing down reinforcements, right? And then we radio the guys on the ground, like our guys on the ground, to hit the orcs with everything they have as we load down the transports for orc reinforcements, and then out of the transports, we like Trojan horse them, man. We like fucking have our guys in the transports and like.
See, the thing I'm saying is that there's a lot of orcs on the ground, and we can only put so many people through transport. And if it is a one man to one orc fight, I'm pretty sure we lose every time.
What you do have, just in terms of basic orc soldiers, you don't know the full details of what exactly the orcs have on the surface or what they're equipped with. At the very least, you do have, on some of your available men, a superiority of arms and armor. On some, not all, but some. I think your forces work out to, what is it here? 1,330 people that you could get down to the surface. You could round up to be a military. What passes for a military?
And we have no idea how many orcs are on the ground, or do we have like some number we can kick around?
Not as of yet.
Got it.
And technically, that's 2,330 if you brought the Servo Skull Swarm.
Huh.
Obviously, the Servo Skull Swarm is not terribly powerful.
Just put C4 on all of them and fly them into the orcs.
No. Toxin grenades.
You don't have enough of those.
Oh yeah, the hallucinogen grenades. They're great. Yeah, I don't think we have enough of those.
But I think the Trojan horse idea is pretty sick. First of all,
I mean, the problem is right now is that you could be sending like 2,000 dudes to walk into 3,000 orcs, and you have no way of knowing.
yeah, but the element of surprise got to count for something.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it counts for X amount of men, where X could be thousands.
We need to know more first.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a thing we should do, but it's not a thing we should do right now.
Yeah.
Obviously,
you
we
have-
get the Gretchen, the Garotha to like send out a message saying that some humans or something like that have been infiltrating, made themselves look like orcs somehow, and so they start just fighting each other because everyone's paranoid.
Yes, I like that plan.
Let them thin themselves out.
So that is a plan. And then in terms of information sources, you've got the Sodal survivors that you picked up, the Orc Captain, and the Revolution Cruise's crew and computers. Then your augurs are certainly able to determine some of the key landmarks on the planet, certainly. Like, you're able to see, yep, that's where the gates to the Lost City are. There's the Mechanicus Fortress, the crash site of the Imperial Guard cruiser.
Oh man, so we confuse the hell out of the orc captain we've got in the brig. We record him, we like say stuff to him, get him to say it back, record that, and then have them send it down to the orc forces, and then we fuck them all up against each other. Gotta use what we have, and what we have is way more intelligence, especially when the guy is dumb as a rock.
That could definitely help, yeah. I think,
When we finally do hit the forces, Holder thinks Trojan horse idea is a good idea.
sure, that won't be for a while. We should go and explore the place, like the Mechanicus place and the downed ship, etc.
Well, so you certainly do have options.
And some that we can do simultaneously.
Yes. That don't even necessarily require the captain who's. It's been about an hour and 20 minutes now. We can probably assume she isn't going to show up being here.
Oh, she's green now, maybe.
She's been green since the start.
Oh, really? Oh, she's
Yeah.
green on Discord now. She wasn't
Ah.
before.
I will be right back, though. Need to refill my water glass. Back in a sec.
I'm gonna go eat ice cream because I can.
That's actually a really good idea. So can I.
Allison's aunt made pecan pie, so I think I might have some of that.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I agree. It's pretty awesome to have me here. You're all very lucky. Anywho, so, shit you intended going forward. You have options that you guys have determined.
Yep, we did that.
Yes, a vast number of good ideas you came up with.
We should go to the mechanicus place, I think.
Well, that is definitely one of the things you have open to you.
So we go to the mechanicus place. In the meantime, also do the deception plan. Gather the materials. So that would at least involve Thaddeus's dumb gun.
I mean, he can be dumb now. What I could just do is get to shoot him, and then I can leave.
We're gonna let Splack know ahead of time so he knows what he's doing.
What exactly is Splack doing?
Once your captain's done, he should be the one that talks to him and gets him to say stupid shit that we record. I figured he'd be more apt to speak to a Gretchen than a human and assume he's being deceived, even if he's an idiot.
Just have Thaddeus shoot him once with the dumb gun.
And what we should do is like get Splack and get a really big coat and have like Splack's head coming through it, and then have him sit on Hodor's shoulders, so then he just looks like a really big orc, and then talk to the captain.
There we go. But that would involve having Hodor be silent for several moments.
Oh, Hodor can agree to shut mouth for a funny plan like this.
No, you're right. We're screwed.
Hodor can agree. Hodor will shut mouth. Sound like fun.
It's a good plan.
All right, I guess you
Someone
gotta
has
go
to be
find
brains
your.
of this group.
We gotta find our nearest vat of green goop and dunk Hodor in it.
Green paint works too.
I'm
You
sure
can
we have
also-
green paint somewhere. It's probably full of lead, but no, Hodor don't care. Hodor's like Honey Badger, he don't give a shit.
That's hardly your most grimdark option. You could go grimdarker.
I have ice cream now, it's hard to be grim dark right now.
You could skin the corpses of the dead orcs.
Oh, we could do that. Hodor is okay with this as well.
We could skin the orcs and then mush up their skin into a paste and then put it all around Hodor, and that way you can wear several orc skins.
Well, okay. Alternatively, you could just wear the like the power armor.
Oh yeah, the orc ones. Yeah.
Yeah, the orc power armor. Rather than just be covered in gore.
I thought you had to be an orc to be able to actually move that.
Well, I'm not sure.
What we do is we put Hodor in it, and then Hodor's strong enough to just make it move without power, and he just makes robot noises when he walks around.
And then I go in and I'll say,
I'll put on my best org accent and I'll be like,
Oi!
we've
It's
taken over
now.
the ship. No, we've taken over the ship. Big Boss wants to make sure that you ain't got any Huey mind tricks going on before we let you loose. So you got to answer all our questions, but you got to answer them truthfully to see what you know, if you remember. And they haven't gotten their Huey spiders in their brain.
As soon as you say truthfully, the ruse is over.
Why?
You gotta be like, no, make sure you don't say no tricksy answers.
Okay.
That's why we just say we have Splack Dog. Splack can talk orc better.
But I mean, it doesn't even. We don't really have to even rely on sight per se, because it could just be blacked out. Like, I mean, the gun also destroys his perceptions.
Well, but if his perceptions are completely destroyed, so is his intelligence.
Well, yeah, I'm saying it's just gonna be low enough that it'd be difficult to distinguish people from other people, or orcs from humans.
We gotta get Splack on top of Hodor, and then hiding behind them will be Romeo, actually speaking orc to the captain.
There we go. That works. And then,
like duct tape to the back of the power armor.
and then somebody else is just like keeping a servo skull there, recording everything.
Oh no! Put a trash can on Romeo. Pretend to be like one of the stealth orcs and say we snuck in.
Yes.
We're gonna try to rescue you.
We need to make this more convoluted, guys. Let's go.
It would be exactly as an orc would do.
Frankly, Hodor could conceivably pass as an orc painted green more than Splat could pass as an orc sitting on Hodor.
Then we still need the orc language.
Isn't it more like orc script? I mean, I assume they will still speak.
Technically, it says that orcs do have an actual language.
Ah, didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, they only write in orc
So,
script.
depending on how dumb he is, he might only understand his first language.
He's spoken Low Gothic to you guys before.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
depending on
orcs
how
don't
dumb he
have.
gets, if he forgets
I'm
it.
pretty sure orcs don't have like a first language. They're just born with all the languages they know.
Huh.
There's debate if orcs are capable of actually learning anything.
Well, I mean, their personality sort of determines which
there's
direction they go in life.
There's definitely some degree of learning there. Although how much of their personalities are inborn is also debatable.
Well, you could say that for people as well.
True, although with orcs it's a slightly different kind of debate on the nature-nurture thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so technically disguising Hodor as an orc would be a disguise check. I don't know if any of you actually have disguise. I would be surprised if you do. But also the amount of your success wouldn't matter as much because of the stupid gun.
But it might
This
be
has to
a
work,
advanced
because I
skill.
don't have very good strategy ideas very often.
Disguise is basic. It's not advanced.
Basic fellowship, yeah.
Yeah.
I said fellowship.
the only reason I can think of would invalidate it existing in the first place. Because it's basically deception. It's like, so why isn't it a deception check?
Well, yeah, it is. It is deceiving people, but in a different way. I mean, you're not exactly. You don't have to talk to anyone, or even particularly move in a certain way. It's just sort of preparing someone, like a disguising kit.
It is. Although, isn't disguise still a charisma-based check?
I will have a look.
But regardless, yes, fellowship. So if someone was attempting it untrained, it would be a fellowship thing.
I don't know. No, I don't know it.
So would it just be a matter of who has the highest fellowship if you were trying to disguise Hodor as an orc?
I think it's Romeo.
I've not leveled it up at all, and it's 34.
I have 44.
And I can also roll for the captain, and captain has 50. Can you assist on a check when you're not trained?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Would the captain's plus 10 come before or after halving it?
After.
Then Romeo's still the best.
Okay.
Because it would be 32 as opposed to 25. Because the captain can't give herself her own bonus.
No. So, yeah. If you were going to attempt to disguise Hodor as an orc, basically the captain would be standing behind you, giving various bits of advice, and like, oh, you missed a spot there.
Okay, I'm going to spend a fate point to give myself plus 10, and then do this. Ha!
Do I got to roll for this at all?
Oh,
Considering you're not actually doing anything besides sitting there and being changed, I think you're okay.
Yeah, no, you're just sitting in the makeup chair. They got you in the chair at 3 a.m.
if there's any way I can get a plus 6 to this check, or better, I succeed. But otherwise, I'm off by 6.
We can pretend the captain's there giving you plus 10.
No, that is including
Yeah.
the captain's plus 10.
You can spend another fate point.
I could definitely try that. Okay, then I guess I have to spend another fate point. Boom. Okay, we did it.
Okay.
And no saves, but that's fine.
Okay, so I mean it's not a great disguise, but Hodor looks orcish. You basically painted him green. The tech priests were able to modify the mega armor. I mean, he can't really sufficiently move in it that well, but he could get it into a room.
The way I picture it is that the armor isn't even on, it's just Hodor is moving it with raw mass.
Basically, that is exactly what's happening. There's probably also like a team of tech priests that's coming by, like behind him, kind of pushing him, like on a forklift or something.
We have him from like a crane hook, and he's got like little wings, and he's flying down in power armor.
It's all just movie magic.
Oh, I bet the Elder are having a fit watching this.
Romeo's having a fit watching this.
So yeah, Hodor has fake tusks now.
I love it.
We're filming this, right?
Probably.
We're at least filming. No, we're filming from the captain's perspective, like right on the captain directly, so it can be broadcast out as if he was talking to them, like on a
Yes.
ship to ship thing. So you can't see Hodor. You should not be able to see Hodor or anybody else,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
and it can't look like our ship at all. So we gotta be like really close up.
The way I picture this looking, if it works, is like, you know that episode of The Simpsons where they doctor all of Homer's interview and like the clock in the back keeps on skipping time? That's what I picture this being all said and done.
And the orcs would find nothing wrong with that. Because dumb orcs.
Orcs are dumb.
Why's the clock keep doing that thing? 'Cause time goes faster on TV, stupid.
This may be the best plan I've ever thought of. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
I do like to think about like the brain spiders or something like that, or like it's either that or humans are dressing as orcs, or like somehow managed to make themselves look like orcs.
Well, you've actually made that true. That's happening.
That's true.
You're doing that right now.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
It's not a lie if you make it true when it wasn't when you came up with the idea.
Ah, yes. Do I have the highest intelligence of the group?
What is your intelligence?
62?
I think so, props.
Just barely, yes, unless for some reason Romeo's is super high. I'm assuming Thaddeus and Hodor's aren't.
Oh, Romeo is dumb, like Hodor. I think Romeo and Hodor are the same intelligence.
What's
I'm
your intelligence?
43.
My int is quickly, like 36 or 37. Let's see, int 36.
Yeah, it's the exact same.
Yeah. So Romeo.
That's basically average human intelligence level. Yeah, the captain is 59, so Zennith is just barely higher.
Just doesn't show as much because she's very Luna Lovegood in what she says.
Well, she's also like insane, certifiably. So
But the funny thing is that like you guys are way more insane than she is at this point.
Yeah, Romeo is the craziest one on this ship.
oh, I don't have any insanity points. So
Romeo's 31.
I'm
I
still
don't
just
even
19.
I don't have insanity or corruption points. Done pretty well in that regard.
I think Romeo has one of the least corruption scores, is 12.
Yeah, Romeo has been through some shit.
Corruption.
I got 13 corruption.
Mine says 16.
It's mostly because most of our source of corruption came from when we were using the demon guns, and Romeo got a little bit from other places, but he almost never used his gun, so he got almost no corruption from it.
But he also
Yeah.
had some direct warp exposure on one or two occasions.
Yes, which is why I think he's hanging like a little bit below average as opposed to way low. But
His
like,
sanity,
yeah,
on the other hand, is really good. Or in the sense that it's very low. Of 3.
yeah. Romeo is 9 off from having no choice but developing some kind of mental tick, whatever that thing is. Once you hit 40, you just get one, no roll.
A mental
Nice.
what?
Like a phobia or something like that.
Come on, alcoholism. Come on, alcoholism.
Yeah, you still roll for I don't even know what they're freaking called. Whatever you get from sanity points. But at 40, you just get one automatically.
Addiction. You're addicted to clowns. Clown addiction.
Suddenly, like
The
All
Harlequins?
All of a sudden, the Harlequins and the murder servers we paint as clowns make sense.
Quirk. Must must wear a sombrero at all times. Even when you're doing a spacewalk.
You have to pay extra money to get special void suits that allow for sombreros.
Just have a conventional sombrero, like sort of strapped to the top of a space helmet.
Oh, also, Robin said she had just got up and she's not feeling very well, and so she passes on her apologies.
Ah, okay. Having had to not run the game because I was sick, I completely understand that. Speaking of which, still am a little bit. Fuck that coworker.
God damn them.
Okay, but yeah, so anyways, yeah, Hodor is technically disguised as an orc.
Do the thing, guys. Do the thing.
Yeah, and are you going with the trash can or the duct tape to the back method for Romeo?
Go for the trash can.
I'm cool with either one.
Okay, so we have like the one recording centered on the captain, but we have to have another one facing the other direction just centered on the two of them. Just for the gag reel at the Christmas party.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say totally trash can.
Let's do it. Brogo's a trash can. He's pretending to be a sneaky orc. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Romeo's literally orc trash.
Can we just find some like orc shoes and have Romeo just wear them underneath the trash can?
I
You
bet
are
we could
more
loot
than
him.
able to. There are enough dead orcs aboard the Revolution cruiser, and some aboard your ship.
Okay, alright, he does that.
Okay, this is happening.
Okay,
This is a
so we're
real
doing this.
the plan we came up with.
I love
You
it.
did come up with this plan.
It's a good plan.
You are doing this. This is happening.
You love it. Don't deny it. You love it.
I do love it. That doesn't mean it's good, but I do love it.
It's an option. If it doesn't work, then we're just back at our normal square one.
But okay, so yes, this is happening. Hodor appearing to be a mega armor orc or a mega armor knob. Forgive the horrible dogs in the background. And theoretically, Romeo appearing to be a commando.
Yep. Yep.
And Splack is there, possibly.
I'd say it would make for a good, what do they call it? Ambiance. Not ambiance, but something more convincing.
I picture Splack showing up and then just mumbling under his breath how racist we are when we're doing our orc impressions and accents.
But presumably, he's allowed to come somewhat out of his stupor. Thaddeus tops him off.
Yeah.
So at least half out of it, Captain, laying before you.
Get the Secret Service call rolling. Ten seconds to magic time.
Has everyone watched Wolf of Wall Street?
No.
Oh man, Matthew McConaughey does this weird fist thumping thing, and I picture Romeo doing that in a trash can before he talks to the orc captain.
Yeah, I know. That's good.
Okay, Romeo's gonna yell at the orc captain and say that he should wake up in orc.
What? What you doing there?
I'm gonna say that we took him off the Umi ship, but we're not sure if the Umis don't got their little creepy fingers inside his head. So we gotta ask him some stuff to set him straight.
Oh, I got nothing in my head. What's he got that thing on?
I say that we snuck onto the ship.
Ah, right.
And then I tell him that he doesn't think he's got Umi heads inside his head, or Umi fingers inside his head, but Umi fingers are real small, so you don't feel them.
Looks over to the giant disguised Hodor. How'd I get you, Snakes, he say?
I say that I snuck in and opened the door for him.
You do have deception, right? You're the one who has deception.
I do have deception.
Make a deception doodle.
Okay. That's a success. Especially, we're getting the Melodium, right? On these? Because he's on our ship, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, then that's definitely a success.
Okay.
.1 successes if this is an opposed check.
All right.
Doesn't he explain about like the human takeover and get him to say it back?
Well, I don't know him is on my head.
I tell him Yeah, if he got no fingers in his head, then where's the biggest fighter bomb? Where's the biggest place you wrangle up fighter bombers on the planet? If he didn't have fingers in his head, then he would know.
What, you don't know where that is? Aren't you a knob? He looks to Hodor.
Rodeo says he knows where that is. He wants to know that if he knows where that is, and if he was the real big boss, he would know.
And at this point, I'm probably assuming Splack is riding on Hodor's shoulder, whispering translations to him when necessary.
Yeah, it sounds like a good call. He could even try to like fake do maintenance on it because that's generally what they do.
So Hodor is being kept apprised of things, even though it's technically taking place in Growly Grunty Orc.
Yep.
Of course I was the big boss. Look at me. I was the biggest. I'm bigger than that one.
Ron was gonna say that if he was really the big boss, then why did he get captured? He's got to prove he's the big boss. The real big boss wouldn't get captured. He's pretty sure.
Crump you. Got to show you what who's the big boss if I wasn't tied up here with the human things. Yeah, but I was all tied up here with the human things, so I can't crump you good. Let me out of this thing so I can crump you good.
Sorry, I'm trying to think of what to say.
Just in a microbeat. Is he talking about being deceived, like being a human in disguise?
No, he's
Thinking
saying
about
he wants to
humans.
beat me up.
Well, get him to say something else. Make mention that the humans are I don't know, they're taking over orcs and making them fight against orcs. Get him to say something like that.
Oh man. Okay. I got it. Okay. Remo's gonna say an orc that he doesn't know if the big boss decided to join the revolution cruises and turn against the other orkies.
Oh, yeah. You think the humans is making orcs fall over orcs?
Remo's gonna say that one of the ships went and shot a bunch of the other ship. And they're pretty sure it's the Umis.
Oh, those kids is making our cruisers shoot our other cruisers.
They could be on the surface too.
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
If that's the case, then they could be on the surface too.
And some of them took over the fighter bomber squadrons.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Romeo's gonna say all that. that they think they're on the surface also. And they don't know if they can do the fighter bombers.
What the? Those kids is trying to make our fighter bombers what bomb the boys.
Human infiltration on the surface. It could be any orc.
Okay, Romeo says all that.
Okay.
That they're being craftier than orcs and trash cans.
Craftier than an orc at can. Don't know how it gets much more cunning than an orc in a can there. How could they anyways make themselves look like orc?
He doesn't know, but they did somehow.
Yeah, that he says they're too. We don't know. They're too crafty.
Like a more crafty, who made them make themselves look like an orc, like us looks like orc.
I think the way you can tell them apart is they smell a little different.
And they wouldn't feel no too wargy neither. Not when they's next to you, like. And they's too weedy to look like a big knob.
By the time
Yeah,
they
all
get
the
too
little-
close to smell them, then it's already too late.
Yeah, he's gonna say all the weedy looking orcs. You go up and you smell them, and then it's too late, and they already got you.
That's dead. That's some crafty humies. As long as we know it's only the big lads what's definitely the orc.
Yeah.
No Amy can make himself look like one of you. He looks over at Hodor.
Or just,
Yeah, Romeo there goes like, yeah, if the big orcs were smart, they'd go around and crumping all the little ones they could just to be sure.
That's right, Dave.
In the background, Denna's just kind of like taking note of the footage and making sure it's all getting saved properly. They're like, I think that'll at least work for the current plan, but if you want to get any more information out of him, go for it. Other than that, we have what we need for this plan.
Okay, well, the way we're gonna end this interview, by the way, or the way we're gonna end this, is that Thaddeus should come in, and then Romeo's gonna fall over, and then just shoot him in the head until he's stupid again.
You still don't know where their fighter bombers are.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying. If you wanted more information, that would be it.
Romeo's gonna be like, yeah, I heard that all the Humies wanted to go and take over the fighter bombers. You know, the ones by the ones by
Roll a deception. Quality matters.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna fate point that.
Was that a horrible failure? I'm not actually looking.
It's an 80.
That is a pretty horrible failure.
It's a pretty bad failure.
How damn he's gonna get the fighter bombers what's on the cruiser? Damn, he's already took down that cruiser.
wait, so the fighter bombers are on the cruiser. Okay.
Romeo's gonna say, yeah, they got the ones in the cruiser, but the ones on the planet are still. They're still trying to get all those ones. They're trying to keep them all to themselves, like the big guns or the shooters.
Make another deception.
Yes, it's a 9.
That is pretty good. And you'll want to roll to see if you can keep your fate point.
Thank you.
That 9 reminded me of it.
Nope, 2 left.
Okay. Maybe we should have put those somewhere else.
Ren was gonna ask where he thinks they should move all the fighter bombers to.
From where?
I don't know, if we're gonna give out an order and the captain's saying to move the fighter bombers, then we should know where the fighter bombers are. But yeah, I guess that also might be a good thing to try to work in.
Well, if there's a way you want to try and work it in, you are more than free to say the thing.
Say the thing. I'm gonna hold back on that for now. He's just gonna say like, yeah, where should I move him? What is it, Big Boss? I don't know. I can't remember. My brain is real dumb right now. I'm sorry.
Because you're mentally putting yourself in the shoes of an orc.
Because I'm actually running on 3 hours of sleep.
That'll do it too. What you have to do is go murder somebody. That'll get your adrenaline up.
I love the feeling of hot blood running down my arms.
Exactly. That'll wake you up for a little bit. Just like a cup of coffee, but more murdery.
Well, firstly, you could just take a shot of adrenaline.
How does taking a shot of adrenaline help you murder somebody?
It depends. Maybe
Yeah, gosh, you could
OD them on. What you do is you slam it into them and OD them on adrenaline. Like, that'll kill them and get your adrenaline up in the process.
I guess that's true. I guess that would work. Anywho. Right, we'll get them mechs to kick themselves into gear and move all the boys towards that techie place what got the big guns what's still shooting at us. They's got lots of hangers there. If we put enough at it, we'll get inside, and then we can put the fighter bombers down instead.
Oh, you mean the big one that's not Umi.
I personally didn't catch that.
Oh, he's saying like he's trying to basically ask he's talking about the gate to the Lost City. So he's saying the one that doesn't look Umi.
No, not the thing. What's the shiny things inside? The other thing, what's got the enemies with the bionics and the big honking guns what's still shooting at us.
Roger's like, oh, that's why you're the big boss.
Go over and crump those enemy guns and get their hangars, and then put our fighter bombers in their hangars since we shot down all of their things what's be in the hangars.
Yeah, that's a good plan, boss.
Yeah, of course it's a good plan. I'm the boss.
Yeah, once we get you out of there, you're gonna go crump all the humans.
Yeah.
Okay, so Revo's gonna be on Mox and be like, this is when you should come in.
Especially that one what's got the pink sparky gun. I like that sparky gun. I'm gonna make him into paste.
This is when Romeo's gonna like awkwardly waddle over, and this is when Thaddeus should come in, and then Romeo will fall over, and you shoot him in the face.
So they kick you over.
Yeah, you could kick Romeo over. That's totally fine, and then you shoot the guy in the face until he's stupid again.
And this will be done.
Okay, so Thaddeus ambles in and kicks Romeo over.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he shoots the captain in the face.
Just rolling
So-
trash can.
Okay, as soon as the gun is drawn, if it's not already drawn, The captain does start shouting over to Hodor. Oh, that's the pink sparky gun. What? Make him in the paste. Make him in the paste before he shoots the sparky gun.
Alright, I run towards him, but then I trip on purpose and I fall over.
I don't think you can run.
Alright, and then I try to move and then I fall right over.
That is
You know what we
accurate.
have? You know what we have? We have Hodor try to move, and then he just starts screaming, and then Spleck can be like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and just blame it on to Gretchen.
Oh no! Oh, I start screaming. Then I fall over.
Not the pink sparky gun again.
That's right. Here it comes.
We gotta. I still have that separate video going just to get all of this for the gag reel. Oh, shit! I was gonna have so much popcorn over that. It's gonna become a drinking game.
And once more, your plasma pistol screeches, disgorges some form of billowing warp fire that encompasses the orc's head. All of the recordings go just a little bit more static than they otherwise would.
Every time the orc captain says the word for Hume in orc, everyone takes a drink.
Okay, so you at least have a recording of the captain ordering the phytobombers to be moved.
And all that talk about humans being crafty and being infiltrating. He did respond.
Yeah.
And we also know that it seems like the cruisers they shot down still have people in them because the guns are still working.
Well, you know that he once... You've successfully recorded an order for the phytobombers to be moved through the invasion of a pre-existing location.
So that part we're not sending down.
Well, we can hold on to it, and if we know they're going to invade, we can set up an ambush.
That's true.
I mean, we can set up our own, like, bombing runs. And if they're moving the fighter bombers, that might not mean that they're in the air.
I say we first at least send the first video, see if they start fighting each other, then themselves out before this.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay, so you will be attempting psychological warfare on the orc.
Fuck yeah. That is a type of warfare that the orcs are not very good at.
Well,
They're either immune or this is going to be super effective. One of the two.
I really hope it's the latter, because that would be amazing. Yeah, no in between.
sometimes the orcs do psychological warfare. More of the fear-based kind.
I never see this coming.
The Imperium continues to believe that there's no such thing as stealth orcs.
Well, do the stealth orcs actually work against the Imperium? Like, do people notice them usually when they try to go stealthy?
Well, they exist for a reason.
I mean, so sometimes people see them, but the upper echelons, like the Imperial Command, doesn't believe they exist. So sometimes guardsmen get executed for incompetence when they claim that the only reason they failed is because they were ambushed by stealthy orc patrols.
Yeah, we got jumped by an orc commandos on the
Yes.
first planet we were on.
You've seen them. You know they exist.
Yeah, they're in the corridor.
So if this keeps happening, why doesn't is the Imperial High Command just stupid then?
It's one of those things where they think the soldiers are making it up, or they think the soldiers are stupid. It's like stealthy orcs. Yeah, no, you're incompetent fuckers. You failed because you weren't good enough, not because orcs ambushed you. Yeah, right. Orcs ambushed you. No, you're incompetent. And then there's, quote, orc snipers, that for some reason, some certain members of Imperial Command do accept exist.
There are orc snipers.
No, there are not orc snipers. Orc snipers is in massive quotes. Orc snipers is what certain people call it when an Imperial officer or a Space Marine happen to be the target of the Officio Assassinorum.
Oh my. That's so funny.
Yeah, no, they were killed by an orc sniper. We didn't assassinate a Space Marine chapter master. That never happened.
That would be pretty hard to do.
Assassins are crazy.
Yeah, the skill levels are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know much about Warhammer, but I know that assassins are crazy.
But one of them, they couldn't like 1v1 fight a chapter master though. They would have to like.
They possibly.
Well, that's the reason why they're assassins.
Yeah, the Officio Assassinorum, they're crazy motherfuckers. Strictly regulated.
Is that what Thaddeus is a part of?
No way near I could be. I'm just nowhere near good enough. These guys are like the toppest. They're like
if he capped out his rank charts, possibly, or at least or near the cap.
Yeah. That's the level of ridiculousness I would need to become to join them.
Ever, sir, assassins.
I doubt one could survive a punch or two though.
So
If
all
you
your
can, I
video
mean, their
editor
agility
needs
would
someone
be
to
so
play,
high.
Clue in the Revolution Cruiser into the plan and give them the video
Sure.
afterwards.
Are the ever ones the skull-faced dudes?
Yes, the episode are the skull-faced dudes
They're funny, man.
who Kool-Aid guy through walls.
Yeah, they Kool-Aid through the wall, kill everything, and just go in.
But yeah, so the video is passed along to the Revolution Cruiser. And the Gretchen promptly set to work creating a fucking like Newgrounds E-Bomb World style sounding board for making Captain Crank phone calls.
I'm so happy with them right now. I was not on board with this plan to recruit the Gretchen until this very moment.
Zennith still thinks they're disgusting abominations, but as long as they're useful in this plan.
Oh, I think it's a better plan than recruiting a fucking demon with tattoos all over his body.
You didn't know who was a demon.
We all had a pretty good idea.
Sure you did, wink.
I maintain that recruiting him was a mistake.
Yeah, but not because he was a demon, just because it was a mistake.
I think Zennith had at least an intelligent guess.
So yes, the Gretchen are now fucking around on the Vox channels, having
Nervous.
just that they're just shitting themselves with laughter over the shit they're doing now.
So now we keep watch over what happens.
It's like, hey, Ubies, I'm the captain. I'm weightier. So you are just getting numerous Vox transmissions to your ship, just like hundreds of them constantly, that are clearly just soundboard remixes of various things the captain said to make him sound like an idiot. Because the Gretchen are having fun.
As long as they send down the mix that we gave, also, that would be wonderful. As long as they're actually sending that down to the orcs so they get the point. They can send us all the gag reels they want. I'm all for adding that to the Christmas party.
Ronnie was like taking notes of like the worst orc insults you could possibly have.
Well, they only have the captain's own words to work with.
Oh, okay.
So they can only use the insults that he used. Again, just like one of those crank call sounding boards that you can find online. But yeah, so they do. Holy crap. Okay, yes, they do actually relay the thing that you wanted them to relay.
Come on, come on, come on. Fingers
Why
crossed.
is that a surprise?
There was a roll involved. They're your allies, but they're still Gretchen. And you're still humans.
I'm just like, I'm in the praying position right here, like, come on, come on, come on. This will be so amazing if it works.
Well, you are not particularly privy to the end results at the moment. That's a slow burn thing.
Yes, this is where we wait and get a drink, and Zennith gets to make fun of Romeo's trash costume.
Oh yeah, Romeo thinks it was totally stupid. He totally is like, yeah, it was real dumb. You're trying to make fun of him for something that he understands is something he deserves to get made fun of for.
Yeah, and she's still getting plenty of pleasure out of it, partly because she's partly drunk. After having watched the thing over and over again as they were editing it and just drinking the entire time. Do you remember that time you rolled around? That was wonderful.
So, you have a disinformation campaign being run to some extent.
While we wait for the inevitable conclusion of that, what else can we do in the meanwhile?
Well, Romeo can go pour over information from the Revolution Cruiser. Go through the databanks and all that.
Yes. Okay, make your roll for that. I will make an adjoining roll for the captain as well. And meanwhile, there was another plan as well, wasn't there? There was a thing people were planning.
Thing to go to the Mechanicus thing? Fuck yeah!
Okay,
Yeah.
so yes, you are doing some heavy sifting of those orc cogitators. Of course, that is a lengthy, time-consuming process. If there was anything else anyone else wanted to do in the meantime. Whilst the captain and Romy are occupied basically trying to sift through orc hard drives and email records, trying to NSA the orcs.
A defenseless what is a location?
Trying to figure out what else I can do in this situation. What was the... Someone remind me what the other simultaneous or almost simultaneous thing was?
Let's just go down to the planet. Maybe go to the Mechanicus place, or there's other places we can go to.
Yes, the four major landmarks you were currently aware of were the downed Imperial ship, the Mechanicus Bastion, the entrance to the Lost City, and the Vox Relay Tower.
I can go to the Vox Relay Tower on my own, I suppose, to be stealthy. Or we can go together and to another place.
At the very least, you know there's orcs at the Vox Relay Tower. You know that's the case.
I think oh man, what did the captain say? It's either the Mechanicus or the downed Imperium starships. Like they still have people there because they were firing guns.
Yeah.
So do we want to at least wait a little bit first to see if stuff goes down? Because if they see regular humans, when we're trying to convince them that they're basically sabotaging us orcs, it might not be as effective. And unfortunately, we can't have Hodor looking like he did the entire time because he just falls over.
Yeah, I think it takes some kind of strength test just to move.
Wow. Do I get more armor when I'm wearing it?
Technically, I think.
Because I could probably pass all the strength tests I'd need to move.
It's like a minus 20 or minus 30 strength test.
Arguably, I could still probably pass most of those.
The one you don't is the one where it matters.
Well, I think I have enough XP to like buy a leap up where I can like stand up without having an action.
That may not apply for something like the Mega Armor.
That'd be DMs, yeah, probably.
Yeah, just because of how the Mega Armor works. And you wouldn't be able to charge. I think it's difficult to charge in Mega Armor when it is working, much less when it's not.
Does Mega Armor count as a vehicle or no?
No, it's just armor. It's got the mass of a small vehicle, but no, it's just armor.
If it was a vehicle, none of us would be able to drive it because it'd probably be pilot or drive walker, and like drive walker, it's really hard to get.
Unless you get it from from a background when you start. I think there's some backgrounds that are just like carte blanche as far as what skill you can get from them. But obviously no longer relevant now. Since you've all already made your characters. But so, other than Hodor taking into consideration mega armor related things, what if any location was it that you wanted to go down to? You can't move an army quickly, but you can move small groups quickly with the teleportarium.
I want to hit their fighter bombers.
You don't currently know where those are.
We could move
We're
them.
still waiting for the plan.
Well, we just play that. We get the Gretchen to hail them, and then we play the recording of the captain saying, "Move the fighter bombers."
But
What?
when we do that, we screw over one of the locations because the plan is to invade a location and then put the planes there.
Oh, well, do you think?
That would get them out of hiding, but it would also get an orc assault force to go with them.
Which might be fine because we can set up ambushes because we know where they're going to go. But that doesn't mean that we want to do that right now.
Well, we should at least know what the sample locations before we do anything.
That's also assuming you know where they're going to go. So far, I think you've only been speculating what exactly you meant. Which obviously the orcs will understand.
Like, if we want to check out, like, some of the downed Imperial stuff, we might want to, like, send, like, stealth scouting parties to kind of keep down low for the meanwhile.
We could. Would the Gretchen know what the hell the captain was talking about for sure?
Possibly.
Okay, that means I don't trust him either way.
It's a case of where, like, they speak the language and everything, but they also just got done not being important enough to even look before you sit down to make sure you're not crushing one of them to death. So they weren't exactly kept apprised of high-level battle plans. But
yeah, there's no Gretchen.
But some of them may have just been, standing around while high-level battle plans were being discussed because they're also not important. They're also not important enough to kick out of the room. All the upsides and downsides of being recently liberated slaves, basically. But okay, so ideas and decisions. of a downed Imperial capital cruiser, theoretically a Mechanicus bastion, or confiscated comm tower. And a big-ass door that you can theoretically open, but it'll take you some time to open.
And that apparently is like way deep in orc territory.
Because apparently it is what the shiny thing is behind. How the orcs know there's anything behind that door, or anything of what it is, you have no idea. Well, Thaddeus, as both the stalker dude, the one making suggestions of going down, and the ranking officer.
Pardon?
Where do you think he should be going down to?
Well, the Magus expressed some importance for the Mechanicus place, so I say that.
Okay, teleporting a team down to the Mechanicus Bastion?
Sure, let's go.
Okay, obviously Romeo's not going. Is anyone else intending to go? Notably,
Which
Zennith.
place exactly?
Theoretically, at least what was the Mechanicus's home base before the orcs invaded.
Hodor will go down.
The research station / outpost.
Suppose I can, but I'd rather wait a little bit and be sneaky. If we don't... Would I reasonably think this might mess up the original plan that's going on? Because Hodor cannot be sneaky.
I wouldn't particularly say you can either, can you?
No, which is why I'm pondering whether to go.
Completely Batmaning your way through the halls there.
Sure. My perception is not correct.
Zennith and Hodor stand somewhere within a gigantic cyclopean hallway.
If presence, yeah. If not, no.
Yes, presence is relevant.
Then it's like 2 degrees.
Okay.
Actually, no, 3 because of unpredictable.
Yeah. Oh, and it is notable, Hodor doesn't get to feel small very often. But the Mechanicus certainly does a damned good job of having ridiculously oversized hallways.
So the place is just like fucking enormous.
Oh, good lord, yes. Mostly because it's made to be able to move walkers through.
That's fair enough.
And also to just be grand and amazing. You can't actually... Well, okay, Hodor can see the ceiling because... Okay, actually both Hodor and Zennith can see the ceiling because they have dark sight.
Woohoo!
Hodor and Zennith are not particularly impaired in this place, but it seems like a lot of the lights are out. But yes, Thaddeus, stalking his way through the halls, does come across a small pack of servitors.
What, are they doing anything in particular?
They appear to be working to repair something on the walls.
Can I keep going and see if there's any more people? Or where the noise of the gun is?
You can certainly go to where the fucking noise of the gun is.
We're trying to look for like a control.
Path and all that good stuff.
Okay, so zap. Flash of warp light, and you are somewhere inside the Adeptus Mechanicus bastion.
What's it look like?
Well, there's the grand towering ceilings you'd expect, massive hallways, one of which you find yourself standing within. Completely empty, the hallways you're in at least, devoid of any kind of bodies, orc or otherwise. Occasionally you hear a massive, some kind of massive weapon fire. Like slightly shakes the entire hall that you're in.
Alright. Maybe it's best if I scout ahead on my own.
All for that.
I'm quite after all.
Well, you can make your rolls to be stealthy with your various things.
Silent move, I guess. I think that's a thing. Yeah, silent move. That's something I have.
That is a thing that you have.
I don't know what it's based on though. I think probably agility.
I'm pretty sure this is all agility. All of your various things for being stealthificating.
I forget which bonuses I get, but there are some.
If all of your attributes are accurate on that sheet, you can just straight roll the skill from your sheet.
No, I did. I did. It's a 1.9 degrees of success, but I think I
you
get yeah, but
Well, I mean,
the fine skin gives me +10 to silent move tests.
Oh, right. But I mean, there's a
that's-
button for silent move itself as opposed to just agility.
Oh, fair enough.
But I mean,
Oh yeah, there is.
yeah.
Well, it's the same roll anyway.
Yeah, it'd be the same unless you had given it a +10 or +20 from
You don't get access to those
from
till,
advances.
next level, I think.
Right, I get you. Yeah, I know that you do have your things that give you bonuses. I know your stummer gives you a bonus to silent move.
That's only if I have it active. Which I suppose I can. I mean, it's like I think it lasts like an hour.
Yeah, something like that. So something where I guess that's long enough that it's still extremely useful to use casually, but short enough that I wouldn't just assume you had it in case you drained it, and I just assumed.
Yeah. I can't find it in the book though.
Oh, I can just pull it up real quick. It's either going to be in the gear or the tools section.
So, 20 minutes actually.
Oh, okay.
But it's +30, which I didn't really need. No, I'll
Okay.
do it. Whatever. I get. Was it 2.5? If that's the case.
Okay, well, that is pretty significant. Well, an awareness as you are completely Batmaning your way through the halls there.
Sure. My perception is not correct.
Zennith and Hodor stand somewhere within a gigantic cyclopean hallway.
If presence, yeah. If not, no.
Yes, presence is relevant.
Then it's like 2 degrees.
Okay.
Actually, no, 3 because of unpredictable.
Yeah. Oh, and It is notable, Hodor doesn't get to feel small very often. But the Mechanicus certainly does a damned good job of having ridiculously oversized hallways.
So the place is just like fucking enormous.
Oh, good lord, yes. Mostly because it's made to be able to move walkers through.
That's fair enough.
And also to just be grand and amazing. You can't actually... Well, okay, Hodor can see the ceiling because... Okay, actually both Hodor and Zennith can see the ceiling because they have dark sight.
Woohoo!
Hodor and Zennith are not particularly impaired in this place, but it seems like a lot of the lights are out. But yes, Thaddeus, stalking his way through the halls, does come across a small pack of servitors.
What, are they doing anything in particular?
They appear to be working to repair something on the walls.
Can I keep going and see if there's any more people? Or where the noise of the gun is?
You can certainly go to where the fucking noise of the gun is.
We're trying to find a control room or something.
Yeah. Heading towards the noise of the gun, do another awareness. Pray sense does count. The servitors certainly show no awareness of your presence.
I don't know why I ordered it like that, but I did. I think. Yeah, just about with presence does. Only just though.
Okay. Well, as you get closer and closer to the massive pounding sound of the gun, you come upon a massive gun battery. Just a huge artillery cannon that appears to be operating automated. There are servitors maintaining it at the moment.
Can you ask them what the cannon is shooting at? Obviously, probably the orcs, but
I can ask the services eventually, but I just wanted to see if there's anyone but services here before I stop being concealed.
Yeah, so far you've only seen the servitors that are trying to maintain the equipment. As you look out through the gun slit for the massive artillery cannon, you do see a few other cannons. Some seem operational, some are smoking wreckage. Some are no longer smoking wreckage because they were taken out long ago.
So these are guns, but not being fired, but they're...
Some are being fired, some aren't. Some don't look like they'll ever fire again.
Right. I guess I can go out, I'll go out to, like, sneak out with someone, like the servitors. If there's one on the side, I'll, like, try and talk to them. Or, like, pull them away.
The servitor continues its work, but looks up at you.
I'll ask it. So, is there anyone else? Any humans in here? Any sort of command structure?
Yes, Lord.
So there's other people here.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah. So who's the highest commanding officer here?
There's a bunch of binary clicking and grinding coming from within the servitor. Engine Seer Walton.
Yeah, can you take me to him? I suppose I'll also micro to the group. Yeah, I mean it seems safe enough. You can come along if you want.
Guess I'll go forward with that.
Yeah, Seam is here. Would he take me on? Take me to him?
I cannot abandon my duties, Lord.
Well, okay, fair enough. Can you give me a direction?
I cannot reveal the engine seer's location, Lord.
Okay, wine. I outranked probably everyone on this planet.
Please present credentials.
What? Fine. Fine. Well, I mean, first of all, I'll tell him the name of the Magos that whose writ we're under to come here. Archmagus dude.
Again, there's clicking and grinding that comes from inside the chest and head of the servitor. Its eyepiece cycling through some colors. Eventually it stares at you for a moment. And then rises from its work. Yes, Lord. Understood. Security
Good.
protocols overridden. I will take you to Engine Seer Walton.
Okay.
Would we have made it by that point?
You guys managed to make it there just as the servitor is leading Thaddeus out of the artillery chamber. Lumbering Borg-armed thing as it is. It appears to have been completely designed for its whole purpose in life to be loading giant artillery shells into a cannon.
Hopefully that hasn't messed up the guns. And the orc noted them.
Yeah, so the servitor leads you through otherwise still pretty fucking empty halls. Occasionally other servitors pass you, heading off towards whatever automated business they're being tasked with to repair or maintain this or that.
How much human are servitors? Like, do they require any sort of form of sustenance, or is it just like electricity at that point?
I'm pretty sure it's just electricity at that point.
Fair enough.
Yes, you eventually come into sight of red robes.
Nah, classic tale.
Yes, red robes, although a bit more armored looking here. A definitive uniform look to them. As you get closer, they seem more like red long coats than robes. Each member holding manner of rifle.
Well then, that's new.
Bolt, why you three?
Well, we're here on orders of first the rogue trader, Captain Gearite Seraphin, and the Magos, Archmagus dude,
Chiron.
Byron. I'm here to relieve you of the this orc infestation.
is appreciated, my lord. What are your names?
I am Thaddeus Crispin, and
Then
we
I
have
have
Zennith.
Scrobison.
And Todor.
He stares at Hodor for a little bit longer than the rest of you. The aberrant is of your crew.
Aberrant?
He means Hodor. But yes.
Yes, I am.
Understood. The Sodal 39th Force did not have abhumans among its number.
We're not of this planet.
This is probably why they found themselves in such shitty situation. No Hodor things tend to go bad.
We are what remains of the Tech Guard.
How many of you?
How many of them are standing there?
There are 110 of our number remaining.
So you're firing upon the orcs, I assume?
Our automated cannons continue to operate. Those of them that are still operational. We have been,
So bad.
we have been bombarding ground forces that attempt to approach and doing our best to shoot down air forces that come near.
I think
We
you
have-
should be relieved of air forces by now, or is that not the case?
Wait, them or the orcs?
Of orc air forces.
Well, there's still the fighters.
There has been a distinct drop in orc air patrols.
We've taken care of all the orbital problems.
If we could get our own servitors and tech priests, and our captain, in fact, to come down here, would you think they could help you rebuild some of the guns?
It would take considerable time to reconstruct the emplacements. We are doing our best. But even with additional manpower, I do not believe we could do so quickly enough to be of use to the coming battles.
Okay.
We do have 50 Castellan robots that are still operational.
What are they?
Large autonomous weapons platforms. They are very powerful. We did not have many when the orcs arrived, but they have found killing them difficult. We have lost 150 of them, but 50 remain.
Well, they could still be of use in the upcoming
If
fight.
all goes according to plan, they should be thinning themselves out very soon. Most hopefully.
Is there any intel you can give us on the orcs? Or just even the vault? Or the lost city, rather?
I am the leader of this portion of the Tech Guard. I was not privy to the research division here.
Do any of them exist still?
There are some still. They are below, attempting to maintain the data vaults despite their diminished numbers.
Could we talk to them? Or perhaps even bring down the Archmagus himself, if he
We would be
would grace us with his presence?
We would be honored by his presence.
Have the astropath among us transmit information that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, ask if he wants to come down.
It takes some time to get a response back, far longer than should be required for something as relatively speedy as astropathic transmission. But eventually you do get a positive response back. The Magos is willing to come down along with his followers.
Good.
Oh, good. Something he's interested in.
Maybe we can be of use now.
I assume we wait for him to get set up and down.
But meanwhile, the Tech Guard does regale you with their casualty reports.
Denham will try to counter regale him with the her current plan and progress to thin out their numbers.
Well, it appears that they have had 100% losses of all Iron Striders, bombardment servitors, their entire air force, and all murder servitors. A 90% loss of all Tech Guard.
Mm.
And the Orc Captain has lost about 95% of all of his intelligence.
We can kill the Orc Captain if we need to. I don't think we need him anymore.
That's true.
Then it'd be 100%.
And they're down to only half of the emplacement guns.
We definitely need to get the communications up. Then we can get, what's remaining on the planet to communicate with each other. Then formulate a plan.
We have not directed our fire as close to the Vox relay as we could. We have feared damaging the relic.
That's fine, we can deal with that.
We lack the manpower to march beyond the bastion. We have barely been able to hold here as long as we have.
Well, hopefully that will change quite shortly.
Good. When the relay went down, we lost all contact with the Sodal 39th on world. We know
Some
that
of them still exist.
this is good. Their manpower will be required. They were taking heavy losses when we last received communications.
Do you know of any other locations where people might be?
We are uncertain. It has been months. We are surprised there are any others surviving.
Same, I didn't think anyone would be alive on this planet.
There is a development we are aware of.
What do you mean?
From what observations we have been able to make and what intelligence we were able to collect before the VoxNet went down, we have been able to determine that the orcs have been scavenging and looting technology, repairing their own damaged vehicles, and perverting the holy works of the Emperor to their ends. We do not believe they are without their losses, even so, but we do believe their anti-air capabilities have only grown since they made planetfall, as opposed to being reduced through attrition.
Orcs are good at taking scrap and making something out of it. Well, I suppose the ground force attack is the only thing we can do.
That's why I'm hoping they might turn on each other.
Same. A way that would be easier to make that happen is to take out the leader. Then, if there's no strong leadership, then they're likely to turn on each other.
We are uncertain who leads their forces if you have taken their orbital power out of the equation.
Is there not any sort of like orc mech person that might be in charge?
There are multiple orc mechs, the lead of which should have been aboard the captain's cruiser.
There was a man in a giant. Well, there was an orc in a giant suit. A killer Khan, I think they're called.
It is likely that if there is any force commanding the orcs on planet now, it is not one we were familiar with. All of the orcs' upper command would have been aboard their cruisers. Or if they were not, we cannot predict which ones were or were not at the time.
Well, we only interrogated one of the orcs. I suppose we could ask him.
And after a bit of a wait, there is another spark and a flash, and the Magos, along with his retinue, arrives. Greetings, Hodor, Lord Crispin, my lady.
Hello, maggots.
Welcome.
I see you have made contact with the Adeptus Mechanicus on the world. I am quite pleased with your progress.
Good to hear it. Seems that some of the tech team researching the velocity is still alive.
I will speak with them. It is entirely possible they have actually learned something of use here.
Then I guess we can leave you with that whilst we do something else.
Yes, I will attend to the important business of our future. You can occupy yourselves with our present.
Always do.
As Magos, I am formally granting your captain and yourselves command of the Mechanicus forces of this bastion. Use them well.
It's mighty appreciated. We're going to need their help if we're to retake this world.
And with that, he makes his way down to the lower levels. And throughout all of this, Romeo and the captain have been sifting through the databases of both the recovered orc data that you took from the main cruiser and the cogitators of the Revolution cruiser.
Hopefully we found something good.
Well, you're pretty sure you have in fact determined where the phytobombers are.
Yeah.
They have converted the wreck of the Imperial cruiser into a hangar compound. The mechs are apparently having a field day inside of that thing, looting everything they can find.
Maybe it's probably best just to fucking raise it.
That's assuming we can, because like we would be
Why not?
fighting spaceship grade weaponry at a spaceship.
But have we not done this in the past?
But we've only blown up one, and that's because we destroyed the plasma drive. Hulking,
Sure.
like just blowing up a ship, is really hard to do. Usually, you hulk it.
But it might still have it in there. If not, then it doesn't even matter because I mean, there's no time limit on this.
That's true. There's no time limit. I think the best thing we can do is
And they've got no warp shields, so it's not moving or anything.
I mean, lancing it is probably a pretty good idea, but I think
Moving it is certainly in their intended future. I mean, they're looting all the vehicles and tech they find, but definitely their long-term plans seem to be there's another cruiser that they're planning to lift into orbit. They're planning on converting the Imperial ship into a new cruiser.
got it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can try to make them move the phytobombers outside of there, and when they're moving, we can bombard them.
Yes.
Hopefully. Or we can set up a like surprise counter invasion force here, or here being the Mechanicus outpost.
If we can get him in range of these guns somehow.
Well, we have the captain saying that they should move the phytobombers to the Magus outpost.
It should work fine. But I think we should try and get the relay up. That's the
Agreed.
next priority. I think this means we're gonna have to kill some orcs.
We're gonna have to kill some orcs.
Have someone contact the other cruiser and see if they have heard any utterings on their Vox about what happened or what was sent to them.
They don't seem to have gotten anything useful. Too much chaotic chatter. They're having a hard time trying to sift through it all. They are having a little bit of a manpower issue, since somebody did come along and murder half of the ship.
They had it coming.
They had it coming all along.
Fortunately, you're dealing with Gretchen. Anybody else, you murder half of their friends and family, they might hold it against you. To the point that they might not be willing to be your military allies. But no, these are Gretchen.
Well, they hated the other half of their family.
You did kill a lot of Gretchen. A lot of Gretchen.
Yeah.
Technically, the orcs did by making by fighting us. The orcs wanted to fight us. We fought back. It happens. But when we fought, we stopped killing them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the orcs kill more Gretchen on like a weekly basis than we've ever killed in our lives.
Or at
Am I
least
wrong?
the lives of Gretchen are quite short. The other Gretchen probably don't really care that much. The others die because it just happens so often.
Generally.
I bet those Gretchen are like martyr Gretchen saints. They died for a greater purpose of freedom.
I'm going to be right back.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys have at least slightly bolstered your potential forces. With 110 tech guard and 50 Castellan robots. Which admittedly isn't a lot.
How many robots was it?
50. You can field twice as many murder servitors. We may cut off early tonight because we're lacking Robin. But I will give you guys the readouts of what exactly you have available to you.
Cool.
No, that doesn't work. Okay, whatever. For a lot of stuff, you're not necessarily able to field literally everything you have at your disposal, but the servo skulls are an exception because they're servo skulls.
Yes.
But you'd probably also lose huge chunks of servo skulls if you fielded them, so that's up to you guys.
They're cheap as fuck to replace, though, right?
Theoretically.
Not too worried.
Okay, that is the full breakdown of what the fuck you have available to you. At any given time, at least. Although that does represent the entire complement of your fighters and bombers. You can replace losses on everything else.
Nice.
So 800. So 150 mutant conscripts, 250 mutant knights.
Yes.
This is what I'd be commanding. Well, I could command more than that. It's just
Yeah, just power levels would average out as you guys try to merge things together.
What are the chances that Romeo can drive a tank? A Grot tank?
Well, grot tanks are made for grot-sized things. They're quite adorable looking, actually. They're so small.
Okay, so I guess, what are the kilocans?
You know that giant orc walker you faced?
Okay,
They're the smaller versions that orcs or that Gretchen are inside instead of orcs. You faced a Death Dread. Killicons are the ones with Gretchen inside instead.
okay, and then what are trucks?
They're trucks.
Truck's pretty cool, man. So we have a war rig?
That would be a battle wagon. A truck is like the
A
equivalent.
truck was the thing that we fought that almost kicked ass a couple times.
But in the end, it could not stand up to Hodor's fist. Oh no, that's the.
That was a Death Dread.
Yeah, sorry.
There's an orc truck. Basically, their advantage is just that they're very, very fast on the battlefield. They can move around very quickly. They count as mechanized infantry. A bunch of dudes sit in the flatbed. You zoom up, dudes pile out of the flatbed, and it has a gun. It's basically just a pickup.
Okay, cool.
But functionally, it's just a pickup truck. Because of course the orcs have pickup trucks.
Of course.
And the Grot big guns are artillery pieces. The Grots already were the ones that the orcs relied upon to run their artillery. So pretty much all artillery on the planet are being run by are being run by Grots, and all of the artillery pieces that the Grots have access to, they know how to use. There are, of course, still planet-side Grots loyal to the orcs. Actually,
So most of the orcs are held up inside of the downed cruiser?
at the very
Inside
least,
the
that's
downed
where they're
cruiser?
keeping their phytobombas.
Okay. Because maybe we can try to do the Trojan horse plan to go liberate some more artillery, Gretchen.
I would want to lead that.
Oh, Rick.
That's something I'd want to lead.
Like, the way I'm thinking of it right now is we can probably at least force some of the orcs to leave their encampment and then ambush them with artillery.
And
Um,
that there's a picture of some Castellan robots.
Wow. They're amazing. They remind me of, like, what are they called? Like Big Daddies, but with guns.
Oh yeah, kind of.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. But yeah,
Um,
if we can put them into a bad area, or if we can force them into a bad area, and then just rain down artillery fire on them, we can probably take out a decent chunk of the orcs.
And how many of you have played Civilization 5?
I've played it.
Nope.
Not that far, but I have.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I have like 500 hours on it actually.
It's way too slow for me.
Okay, well, basically, army combat works similarly.
Okay.
In that the only things that can actually fire, quote, ranged are artillery and aircraft, whereas everything else is, quote, melee ranged. So
Right,
the
but
only things that can attack without being attacked back are artillery pieces and aircraft.
right.
Everything else is losses on both sides to a certain degree. That's basically how large-scale combat stuff works.
Oh man, Robin gave a good thing to me. It's like if the orcs really believe that they're like humans posing as orcs, do some orcs actually become green painted humans? Then we just start getting reports in from spies we never placed. The whole believing in it makes it real.
Oh, that would be cool. That'd actually be pretty funny.
God, that fucking reminds me of Paranoia.
That's the point.
Does that happen?
In the game Paranoia, there's
No, I
this.
mean like would that be a thing that actually happened? Like
Uh,
if orcs believe that there were human spies?
to
Or
the
no?
point to the point that there were orcs who ended up being spies just due to the orc law field. Probably not.
Damn, that would be amazing though. Just suddenly getting spy reports.
But that does make me think of the fucking Wobblies from Paranoia, where it was theoretically this communist group that the computer kept sending people to investigate, but it didn't actually exist. So every time people would go to investigate the Wobblies, come back and say, we couldn't find them, and then they were executed for incompetence because they couldn't find the people they were sent to find. So one group eventually figured out that, hey, these guys don't exist and we're going to be executed, so let's found this organization so that we can spy on it.
It's a great idea.
Which resulted in a secret organization. Over the years, there have been more people sent to spy on it, but because it was originally founded by spies spying on themselves anyways, it's an entire organization composed of nothing but spies spying on the organization.
That's hilarious.
I will be right back real quick, though. I have to grab something from the room. Okay, yeah, so ideas forming. Be right back.
So ideally, we could force them into like some place they can't easily get out of, like a swamp or a forest or something, and just like light it up. Because we have a bunch of artillery fire, and if they're moving to us because we told them to move the fighter bombers, they're probably not going to be able to return artillery fire, or at least not as well.
do we get them there?
Well, we know that they would be moving from the downed Imperium cruiser to the tech outpost. Although maybe we should try to get Vox transmissions back online first, so we can get recruit more dudes to the army.
Yeah. Oh man, if in the middle of a fight we mention that we have our spies, like, our infiltrated spies in their army already, that'll just improve the paranoia. We tell them we have sleeper agents.
I mean, maybe we should try to actually get the Gretchen to be sleeper agents. Send some down from the Revolution cruiser, have them go in, stir up around there the next time, like, have a dude in there waiting to give orders, and then they artillery fire on their own dudes.
If they're up for it, heck yeah. We're just gonna run this story ragged. Every opportunity to make it real.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello.
I disagree with that greeting. Frankly, it presents a philosophical point that I cannot agree with.
Okay. I accept this.
I'll never accept it.
Well, neither will Hitler because he's dead, so that makes you kind of like Hitler.
I guess that's just something
Conflict
that I'm
law.
gonna have to live with. Oh, did you guys hear about Tay?
Yes.
Eric, did you hear about her?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Alex, did you?
Yeah, I know about it.
Okay. How funny is that?
I mean, what did Microsoft expect? The best reaction I heard about Tay was like, you're a tech company, you put a thing on the internet, and you expected it not to go south.
I think my favorite is the gallery tweets. The last one. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate the Holocaust? The Holocaust. Steaming 10.
Steaming 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Robin's like, use the teleportarium, drop servo skulls in concealed places near concentrations, and have them send really generic spy reports and bad encryption.
That might be one of those things that's too smart for the orcs to uncover. Well, I guess it'll depend on the area.
Yeah, actually, she said, like, maybe in the clear. Don't want to give them too much credit. just want to method act the hell out of this plan.
Sorry, I'm still reading the Tate tweet stuff.
It is pretty amazing.
It's pretty great.
I'm a bad robot. Fuck me, daddy.
I like how it just throws in hashtag Gamergate on random stuff.
Yeah.
That's because
I like how that's the American version, and then the Japanese version that they also ran out just suddenly became a total like anime otaku, basically.
Oh, really? So the like American version, like, just turned really racist, and the Japanese woman just turned into like a huge nerd.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
it didn't actually have any intelligence. It was just a fucking call and response chatbot, just an advanced one. So it put Gamergate hashtags on everything because people were putting Gamergate hashtags on everything. It's all it knew. It couldn't detect a pattern to when people were or were not putting Gamergate hashtags on everything.
I mean, it's some pretty grade A trolling.
That is what it amounts to. People who knew how chatbots worked were tricking it into saying shit. Like if you asked it, "Hi, how are you?" It knows how to say non-racist things to the question, "Hi, how are you?"
Yeah.
Yeah, even some of the ones that were up in that link just kind of feel like, oh, you said the thing back that they asked you and said, yes, I am the thing you asked me.
Or like, okay, you start asking it about the Holocaust. Is there anyone talking about the Holocaust in a positive context anywhere on Twitter? There like anyone talking about the Holocaust who's not denying it happened on Twitter. It doesn't know how to provide any other response because that's all
that's true.
read. Or
yeah, that's really interesting that it's like the only people that would be tweeting about the Holocaust would be Holocaust deniers anyway.
Fucking Twitter, though. What a fucking, like, cesspool of humanity.
yeah, I mean, it's still a wonderful mirror of humanity's use of Twitter.
Oh, I think humanity's in trouble.
No, we're fine. It's a thing people did and it's funny. And then to be like, oh, it's a cesspool, it's like, I definitely think there are some things that people got. I don't think anybody who believes a bunch of the stuff they made that bot say is maybe smart enough to actually make that chatbot say that, except for probably a bunch of the anti-feminist stuff. But a bunch of it is actually just people just trying to be as offensive as possible. And like, I don't necessarily read into a bunch of the stuff that's being tweeted as like people's actual belief as much as it is people trying really hard to be offensive.
Some of it is definitely stuff where they fed the chatbot the answer in the first place, so that they could then trigger it later.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I should probably go for the night. I need to get stuff ready for work tomorrow.
Yeah. No. I was thinking, cutting early today, anyways.
All right, that's cool. I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, it seems like you have a good action plan for next time, anyways. Setting up your assault on the Orc airfields, aka the downed Imperial cruiser.
Yep. Got our action plan. Now we need those TPS reports.
Is Eternal Crusade up yet? If anybody wants to start playing that, does anybody know?
No clue.
Oh,
I have no idea, nor do I have the time right now. Like right now, I've got to catch up on a bunch of homework, and then I've got like 3 weeks to find a co-op.
co-op?
Yeah, I gotta do a summer co-op.
I have no idea what that is. You're still
Really for art? How do you do that for art?
It's basically an internship. Like,
Oh,
you gotta
okay.
go find an internship,
Well, where
or
would you?
or
You
because
could
it's
apply to
art.
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft isn't taking anybody right now.
Really?
Yeah, I checked.
Lucky.
Because the thing is, you have to have Ubisoft Toronto, which is basically the closest one we have, making a game right now and looking for people. If all of those things aren't true, they're not looking for interns because they're not looking for mostly anybody.
You at least have the benefit of living in an area where game companies fucking exist.
There's not a lot, but there's a few.
There's like
One of the
one.
ones I want to try to get in on is the dudes who make Warframe. If people know that game, are
I haven't played it, but I know it.
yeah, it's in London, Ontario, and I played that game not currently but previously pretty regularly. And I
hated that game.
That game's fun. It's really stupid, but it's fun. It's basically